All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Number 2 ranked bantamweight of Bellator. Should be number 1 in my opinion, but we'll come back to that a bit later. 9-fight win streak. As I said, number 2 ranked. Some impressive stuff, but I want to touch on something else first. Something a bit more impressive than your fights. Your story of Kevin Holland stealing Marvin Vettori's ciabatta at the weigh-in. I think that's the most impressive thing I've seen you do. First of all,
live.
First of all, if you've got a podcast, you've got to have a podcast.
I don't have a podcast. One of the I think ESPN analyst people at the last Bellator told me I need to start a podcast, man. But yeah, so maybe I need to start one. But I don't right now.
Is that story real? Because that went a little bit under the radar, and it was a good story. I feel like a lot more people should have picked that up. I mean, is that all?
Bro, that was
true?
Real. That was 100% real. That was 100% real. I watched it with my own eyes. I watched him eat on the bread while Vettori was like freaking out. You know what I mean? And it's funny too. Like after that happened, me and Jordan were like on the way back from his fight because they do like they had the COVID protocols. So like one person would go to fight and then they would like bring in the next people. You know what I'm saying? People would come in like waves or whatever to the venue. And as we were getting back, what's his name? Kevin Holland was there, or he was leaving to go to the venue. I think because they were the main event. And he was like, "Hey man, I seen you picked up on that or something like that, picked up on the bread or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Hey, I appreciate it." He was like, "I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, letting people know," or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, man, that shit was funny as hell."
Is that the funniest thing that you've ever seen at any event?
Hey, definitely was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
It was like a low key funny because like at the event, I don't know how many people like seen it, or I was freaking out about it. I was like, you see this dude, he got his bread. The dude got the bread, and I picture in my head that, you know what I'm saying, there's some from market fresh bread from fucking Italy and you fucking taking this shit, you know what I mean? So I don't know if many people picked up on it, but it was hilarious to me.
Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because as you say, you've been at some UFC events, obviously cornering people, you've been around it quite a lot. You're fighting in Bellator. How much of a difference is there, when you're fighting for Bellator and then you see what it's like at the UFC? Do you notice a big difference, or does it all run pretty similar?
During the COVID stuff, the events are definitely different. The UFC had it was almost like you were like fighting in kind of a big warehouse at the Apex or wherever it is, but it's dead silent in there. You can hear everything, you know what I mean? But the kind of the way they had it set up, it just didn't feel very it didn't like mirror a fight. It felt like this was like a kind of a backyard thing, you know what I mean? Just like the feel of it. It just felt very like weird, like eerie, kind of, you know what I mean? The Bellator event for me, and I didn't corner anybody during the COVID, so maybe it's different. But like while I was fighting, I felt a sense of like production, you know what I mean? And I felt a sense of like normalcy for like fights when I was fighting in the Bellator. It just felt weird when I was cornering it at the UFC. So it was like a different vibe at the UFC. As far as the events, I feel like UFC and Bellator are like different, but they do a lot of the stuff the same. I feel like UFC kind of got a lot of they just have like a lot of people doing stuff, it feels like, you know what I mean? Where I guess the Bellator, they got a lot of people too. It feels pretty much the same.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So being around them UFC events doesn't sort of like give you the itch where you're around it and you think, oh, I'd love to get involved in this. So it doesn't really make you sort of.
No. As far as like the production or like, being in a fight, I don't feel like there's that much of a difference to where I'm like, oh man, this is so much, bigger, better. I don't feel that.
Yeah.
At least when I'm cornering.
Fair enough. So one of the things that you've sort of mentioned quite a bit is the fact that you think you're the best 135er in the world.
Yep.
Do you think you can do that without competing in the UFC? Or do you think that you have to go against some of the guys over there to really solidify it?
So where my belief in where my statement comes from, it's like I don't really necessarily need other people to like. I feel like for me, I feel like the UFC, like people in the UFC are more concerned with like the clout of fighting or the like the notoriety, like other people thinking. Like for me to get majority of the world to believe that I'm the best 135er, then yeah, I probably need to fight in the UFC. But I also probably need to fight in ONE FC. I also need to fight in you know what I'm saying, Ryzen.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like I'm the best in the world. And the reason I say I don't care about what other people think. I'm not like, that's not driving me. That's not like driving me to being the best in the world. And that's not like driving, you know what I mean, for me to say that I'm the best in the world. Like it's purely internally. I feel like I'm the best. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I need to prove it. I proved enough to myself and my supporters. So it's not for me. And I'm not fighting to like prove a lot of guys or a lot of people that don't know me, or I'm not fighting to prove the world, you know what I mean? Prove to the world that I'm the best, you know what I mean? I fight and I prove to myself, you know, every day in training, every day, you know, or every time I fight, you know, I prove to myself that I'm the best, and that's where it comes from. So, and that's why people are like, oh yeah, you need to fight in the UFC. I'm like, I mean, you might want me to fight in the UFC so that you can prove that I'm the best, but I feel I'm gonna believe I'm the best. You know what I mean? I feel like if I was to go into the UFC, I feel like I'd be the best. You know what I mean? So that's where it's coming from for me. So to answer your question, I don't feel like I need to, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, a lot of people have said sort of similar thing in the past where they just want to prove it to themselves. Like Justin Gaethje, for example, where he said, I just want to prove I'm the best by beating somebody like Khabib. Is there anybody that, from a personal point of view, you know, let's say, you know, we've had some cross-promotional events back in the day, like when Pride and the UFC would cross over. Let's say they managed to do that, which will probably never happen, but if they did, who would you sort of want to put your name forward for to say, right, I want to get in there with this person and prove to myself that I'm the best?
Peter Yan would be a good, I feel like, if they did like a cross-promotional thing. Also, Adrian Moraes, from ONE, the guy who beat Demetrius Johnson. I feel like I would love to fight him because he's which I don't know how the weight classes work, like if he's a bantamweight or if he's a
it's like 10-pound difference over there, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, I those two names would be, you know, fun to test my skills against.
Yeah. Speaking of Mighty Mouse, do you fancy doing any of what he's doing? I don't know if you've seen in December he's doing.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's freaking crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it's cool. I think it's cool. You know, yeah, I feel like that Rotan guy is a fucking little goddamn Terminator, and you know, Demetrius is Demetrius. You know, I feel like he's one of the best of all time. So that is definitely gonna be interesting, and I'm definitely watching that. You know what I mean? I feel like it's super cool. It's two skilled martial artists, you know, at two different kind of disciplines, but they're testing their disciplines against each other in different rule sets within one fight. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think Mighty Mouse is the bravest because he's got to go into his world the first round. It's Muay Thai in the first round, so he's got to survive that before he gets to do what he wants to do. So I think he's the brave one. But yeah, so obviously Bellator have done sort of bits with Glory and things like that. If you know, Scott Coker rings you and he says, do you want to get in there with a kickboxer for a special rules bout? Would you be open to something like that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll be really willing to do that. You know, I mean, I'm good at kickboxing. You know what I mean? Or like boxing or any of those disciplines. I'm usually like the type of fighter I am. I just do whatever the guy's not, because mixed martial art in a mixed martial arts contest, I'm just gonna do what you're not as good as me as or at. And most of the time it's wrestling. Sometimes it's grappling, sometimes it's striking. So, you know, that's just how I approach it, mixed martial arts. So it'd be cool to be like in a setting where you're limited to only one discipline, you know, so you got to be better at that discipline. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to know what's next for you. There's been sort of a few mixed words about, you know, some people saying that you would be open to fighting Sergio Pettis, some people saying that you wouldn't. Obviously, he's a training partner of yours. You have a pretty good relationship with him. Where you're at the minute with this, if you don't mind me asking, in terms of whether you're open to it?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to it. Me and Sergio are open to it. We're open to it. And I don't want to make it seem like I won't fight him. If they give me the opportunity, if like, you know, they ask me, hey, would you fight Sergio next? Like, I'm going to say, yeah, because I can't pass up that opportunity. I'm not like eager, you know what I mean? To fight Serge, you know, that's just a weird thing. Where a lot of these other guys, like, I'm like, please get me in there with him. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I owe him a lot, and you know, he's helped me a lot. You know what I mean? So, I'm not like eager to try to take anything from him, but you know, if they offer me something, I'm not gonna say no. So, and if we get in there, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure we're gonna try to knock each other's heads off. I mean, we do it in practice, you know, all the time to make each other better. You know what I mean? So. It's just a little different, but yeah, I'm definitely open to fighting Sergio.
Yeah. How much does that belt mean to you then? Because you sort of mentioned earlier that you don't need, you know, the sort of credit or whatever the right word is to say that you're the best. You see the belt's something that comes along with that. You sound like you're not in too much of a rush for it. You know, how much does that mean to you to get that?
The belt, to be like a lot of this, so I don't know if I'm like different, or it's just like where I come from is like the belt is more of a thing like for everybody else to realize, you know, that I'm good, you know what I mean? It's just like a shiny thing for everybody else to realize I'm good. So, you know, like, not saying like I'd appreciate, you know, for everybody else to know that I'm good, but it's not like my driving force. But along with the belt comes a bigger paycheck, and that, you know what I mean, feeds my family. That puts me in a better position to help my family, you know what I mean? So that is like very enticing to me, you know what I mean? So with that, but I know it comes with that notoriety. So that's where like the driving, like, yeah, I'm very interested in getting the belt. You know, because I know I'm a prize fighter at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And I know I'm gonna get a bigger paycheck if I got that belt wrapped around my waist.
Yeah. So Scott Coker rings you. He says, Sergio's not next. Do you just say, give me whoever? Or is there somebody you say, right, well, if I'm not going to be fighting for the belt, then there's somebody, you know, specific that, you know, another person that I'd like to fight?
No, I want to fight every single one of the guys in the top 10. I feel like I do well against them, but I also feel like that's what I want to do. You know, I want to knock out everybody. You know what I'm saying? I want to fight all these guys. So none of them I don't really care. You know what I mean? I feel like it would make sense for me to fight maybe a Juan Archuleta, or given Patchy Mix and Gallagher are fighting this next weekend. But, you know, like a lot of those three guys, like I've called out before, and I feel like I've heard crickets. So nobody was really interested in fighting me except Magomed, you know what I mean? And now that, you know, I beat Magomed, I feel like it's probably gonna be more of the same. But I'm interested in fighting all of them.
Good stuff. Right, well, one last one we'll leave you with then. You touched on it there. You said that Patchy and Gallagher are going to be fighting next week. Who have you got in that one? How do you see that going down?
You know, I feel like Patchy has got more experience, and he's the better grappler. And I feel like, you know, both of those guys are grapplers. You know, Gallagher likes to pretend he likes to stand, but he's a grappler. But yeah, and so I think Patchy Mix is gonna win. You know, I'm kind of rooting for Gallagher though. You know, I feel like, you know, he's got a lot of like what do you call it, like clout and momentum and stuff going for him. So, you know, I would like to see him win, you know what I mean? But I don't know, it's gonna be tough against Patchy mix for him. So we'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. Nice one. Well, that's all we've got for you today. Massively appreciate your time, mate. As I say, make sure that people follow you on your Twitter, your Instagram, follow your podcast when that comes out inevitably.
I need to get on that. I'm about to get on that, bro. I'm gonna be you. I think you the final straw that brought the camel's back. I'm about to get on the podcast.
And you need to get in the commentary booth as well, though. And you're a Big John.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. Right. Thanks so much, mate. Best of luck, whoever you do end up fighting next. Best of luck in it. Stay healthy, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.